This is the Debbie Perkins Radio Show. And here's your host, Debbie Perkins.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Hollywood Red Carpet Radio Show. And I'm Deb Perkins, and I have Peter Anthony this evening. It's really a pleasure to have him. This will be the second time I've interviewed him, and I do believe we interviewed before he was in the making of this awesome movie that he's been working on, and we're going to talk about this evening. But welcome to the show, Peter.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on again.
It's so fun to have you. And you do, what's cool is you got all involved in these really awesome bloody movies. But I kind of want to recap because some of the audience that might be listening tonight may not have caught our first interview. So, Peter, what brought you into becoming involved with the filming industry? Because you're a man of many hats.
Thank you. So I've just always been a huge horror fan. So I used to go to all the horror conventions around the whole United States. And then I kind of became friends with Kane Hodder, who was like one of the biggest Jasons. He was in 4 different films, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I became friends with other alumni from Friday the 13th and other movies. Then it's weird. The video game came out for Friday the 13th. I had a couple tournaments for that. That got kind of big. And then, so people kind of knew, at least through the fans, who I was. And then when Vengeance came around, Jason Brooks, who produced and played Jason Voorhees in it, asked me to help come market for that. They thought I was good at marketing, me being a sales background. I started marketing for that. We did really good. We raised over $50,000. And then they asked me to be in the film. So I was the lead prisoner where I fight Jason. And then from then on, I started producing and acting in a couple of the films like that, all the way up until Roseblood. I don't know if we're getting into Roseblood now, but that's my newest one.
That's amazing. And I do remember seeing you now my memory is going back to a scene where you were on the side of a road.
Yeah, the prisoners.
Yes. And you were kind of a good main focus for that movie, matter of fact.
Yeah, it was weird because the director, the cinematographer, and a lot of the main actors, when I was doing the marketing, they didn't want to do interviews, it's just their choice. But I was like, man, what are we going to do? So I was like, well, let's build up this fight scene between me and you for Jason. So we kind of had a lot of like fan art with that and drawings, and that kind of was the main focal point for the movie, at least advertising wise, that shot.
It was really cool because Jason Brooks has been on the show and he talks some of his movie, the one that you were in, and he did give it a really good twist, and then you become creative to recap and actually enhance, but you got a totally different storyline for Roseblood.
Correct. His Vengeance, which I was producer on too, took place 32 years after part 6. My movie takes place 13 months after part 7. So mine takes place June 13th, 1989. There's 2 timelines in mine. There's current day, which you see Lar Park Lincoln, Terry Kaiser, and Kevin Spirituson, the 3 original people from part 7. And then there's 1989. Mm-hmm. You basically see what happens to Tina after she goes away in that ambulance at the end.
That's really cool. I did watch the movie. And I don't want to give away too much because I know that we want to tease people and we want people to watch the movie and have their own opinion. My opinion was a couple of my favorite scenes. One of them was with you in it. There was a room where things were happening. I can't really talk about it because I want people to see it. And then at the very end, and there was a twist in that movie. And you put it in, the paranormal. I didn't see that coming. And when I was watching it, I was like, yes, there was a little something for everyone in that film. And it was quite well done. I really appreciated the graphics. The graphics were really good. Especially could have been longer though, Peter. I would have watched that for at least an hour and a half.
It was an hour I think it was an hour 31.
Well, I would have watched it longer because I felt like there's more to that story. Does that make sense? Like you left it in a way that there was more to it.
Yeah, we wanted to leave it
I
open
love
for
it.
we wanted to leave it open for a part two. It's funny because some fans are like, "Well, it's too long because you don't see Jason until
No,
like the third act." But we purposely did it like that. The Jaws theory, where you hint at him, and then you finally see it in the third act. So you're almost like begging for him by the time you get him.
well, you want to build a relationship with the audience and your characters,
Correct.
and then when things happen, they're going, "No, why are you staying in that room? What are you doing?" You know, the audience is telling the movie, "Please move, get out of there. I wouldn't do that." You know what I mean? So you're
Yeah.
building up the excitement within the audience. And now, who played the Jason in your movie? Was it Jason Brooks or was it Kane Hodder?
Jason Brooks. Yeah, we tried Kane Hodder, but he wouldn't. He doesn't do fan films. But
Right.
Jason Brooks, the same Jason from Vengeance, played our Jason. I mean, to me, he's like the best Jason going right now. So he was my number one pick by far, and I thought he was amazing.
He's a really good actor.
He
I've
is.
seen him in another part where he played a drunk, and he was really good.
He's
Um,
so funny as Louis the
yeah,
drunk. Yeah, yeah,
and he's so big and so tall. And that's what you needed for that character was a really big gentleman to play that scary part.
right. I agree. And if you've talked to him, which you have, he's like a gentle giant. He's like the kindest guy ever. Super soft spoken, very humble, like completely the opposite of what the character is.
Yeah, because if you look at him, in his normal attire, okay, so like his, let's just say he's just got a baseball hat on and a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. You're not going to look at him the same way when he's wearing the full costume for Jason Voorhees.
He in that one scene where he rips the guy through a wall, and he
Yeah,
throws the guy backwards. And yeah, he's 6'5", 240, 250 pounds. And then we yell cut, and then he's over there picking the guy up off the ground. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Like it's weird. When he's in character, he's a monster, but then he goes back to his normal sweet side.
what
It's
about
funny.
you?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, have you ever had to fight with him in a scene?
Um,
Because you're a pretty tall guy yourself, and you're not no little man by any
yeah,
means. You're a full
yeah.
grown man. So
I'm maybe 5'11", like 270. But he's 6'5", 250. But at the end of Vengeance, I actually do fight him. They just cut that scene out. And at the end of Roseblood, if you watch it, at the end, me and him have a little tussle for a second.
you have to bring that back and have a bigger tussle. 'Cause I'm just saying that I think it's epic. Maybe
Thanks.
you can bring him back as he's killing the directors of the movies that make the Jason movies. Just give it kind
Yeah,
of a, now where'd that come from? Nobody's thinking about killing the directors.
exactly.
But that would be funny because Jason being a director and an actor just like you. Um, now, now you've acted before this.
Yeah, I've probably been in 8 films now.
That's really incredible. What types of characters do you find that you like the most to play?
I guess playing the a-hole is easy for me because I could channel I could channel anger pretty easy. But there's in Fall of Camp Blood, I actually have like an emotional scene that's coming out. So I like the wider ranges, just because you
Yeah.
get typecasted as being like a meathead. So, but I've been a Russian bodyguard. I've been a gang member. I've been, the prisoner. I've been the general here. So kind of along those alpha male lines. And then in Fall of Camp Blood, there's a little still a leader role, but a little bit more emotion.
Well, no, you do play a very good leadership type, like a colonel. I mean, because you were wearing a suit in that scene because you were an official.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, that fits him very well. There's a lot of types of characters that you can play with your natural look as it is.
Right.
Have you ever played a dad yet?
No, that's a good one. I would love to play a father like that. And,
You make a
like,
great dad because
thanks.
you remind me of like a Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
A little tough, and it's all in your face. Like
Right.
you got that angry face, but yet then again, a cross between like Bruce Willis and Liam Neeson. I think you could be like that kind of a sway where you could be like a vigilante type,
Yeah.
where you help defenseless people.
Right. Yeah. People always say I'm either really mad or smiling really big. There's like no in
Which is
between.
wonderful, Peter. You're really a funny guy.
Thanks.
And but I think they don't see that because they're looking at your eyebrows going, I hope they don't touch,
Yeah. I kind of want them to think of me as the bad guy. It's easier that way. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's too easy for you, Peter.
Yeah.
You need to stretch a little. No, because I think when you take people by surprise and they don't see it coming, that's when, you're kind of grab your audience and go, look, I can do anything.
Right.
I totally can see you doing stuff like that. Like even carnival things. I mean, there's some really good. That's one thing. Has Jason ever killed anybody at a carnival? Because we all hate clowns.
That's a good question. I don't think he's ever killed anybody in a carnival.
I think that would be a good one. But now are you going to continue with working on that direction of creation of Jason Voorhees' living life? Because the guy never dies, so he's going to be an old Jason one day. And will there ever be a carbon copy? Like a copycat cat killer.
There's a movie that just came out called Fanboy 13 that is exactly that. That a
No
fan
way.
of the Friday 13 series went around killing people.
Really? I didn't know they did that. That's insane. That's crazy.
But as far as me, I'm going to take a long, hard break for about 6 months and see what's going on. I mean, I've gotten offers for different stuff to write and or direct and or act. I have one thing coming up for acting. I'm actually going to be with Kane Hodder in a movie called oh my God, Z Dead End, which I'm flying out to LA to shoot. But I just need a long break. It's been 4 years where I've been doing marketing and online and promotions and ads and setting up premieres and editing and since Roseblood all the way to Vengeance. So I need a break for sure.
I mean, you people don't understand the hours that you as the writer director have to put into and you just released the movie. So, I mean, everybody, this movie is now available and they can watch it tonight, right? I mean, if they want to watch it right now while they're doing the show, but they can watch it right now tonight. They can watch it any day they want because it is free, and you did upload it onto YouTube. Now, are you asking people to give their comments on what they feel they like about the film and you know what I mean? Like, what is your
on IMDb? A lot of people have commented. I think we have like 50% of the ratings and comments have been 10s out of 10, and then on YouTube, tons of positive comments. Under there too. Yeah, so feel free to tell us whether you like it, don't like it. That's the way people are telling us underneath the YouTube on the link for the movie and on the IMDb page.
And I always think it's good to just say, well, what could we have done that would make it a little bit, more of but I thought that the storyline was really good. Now you wrote that yourself, correct?
Correct.
Wow. How long do you think how long did that take you to put all out and then finally because that's quite a process just to get the writing part down.
Yeah, you're not going to believe it. So I wrote it in 3 days. We shot it in 8 days. And from the first time I had an idea of what the movie would be, like, bang, I want to make a movie, from that day to writing it, to doing a 45-day fundraiser, to hiring the cast, to flying everybody out, to shooting it, to come back home, was 110 days.
That's insane.
And we filmed it in March, and we released it in November. It's the first fan film ever to be shot and released in the same year. And
that
we
means
did a huge premiere.
You just applied for the Guinness Book of World Records, I'm thinking that you did.
Yeah, I don't like waiting around,
Yeah, I'd apply for it, Peter. I'll nominate you because really, that's if you're the first one to do that. There's going to be people. Well, there'll be people trying to beat you, but then again, you did it fast, but you also did it in the amount of time that would give it quality as well. I mean, I'm sure that you can knock something out real quick, but you want to do it the right way.
Thank
Every
you.
character has to relate, and they do. They get along. The characters all kind of balanced each other in the film.
Yeah, I felt like in other fan films, and I'm not knocking other fan films because there's people in my film that wanted more kills and more Jason. So it was a conscious effort that I wanted to build characters, and I wanted to have character development, and I wanted to have you care about most of the characters. I really think in this movie, where if I say a name of a character, you kind of have an idea where he's coming from and what he's doing and what he's about. So that, like
Yeah.
you were saying, by the end, if they're being killed, or you're either rooting for them or against them, and that's a good thing.
And that was a tough one because I did well because you had the girls, and you had beautiful girls in this film. Would you like to mention the ladies that were in your film?
Yeah, so Sanaya Lutsis plays Rose, who's the new blood, the new girl with the powers, the younger girl. Jessica Hotman, Jessica Hotman, who's the young Tina, the blonde, blue eyes. That was her first acting role ever.
Really?
I had 165 submissions on I forgot what it was, Actor Studio or whatever, video submissions, and immediately I picked her. I did watch them all, but something about her eyes. She can act and talk through her eyes without saying anything.
You would never know that was her first round. Congratulations to her.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. I tell her that all the time. And then, of course, Lar Park Lincoln, who played the original Tina in Part 7, who reprises her role here.
She's been an actress for a bit.
Oh, yeah, she was in Knots Landing. She's been in tons of things.
Yeah, she's very, very talented. And she's very, very beautiful. Now, I know that wasn't her hair because, but that was
she had a wig. Yeah.
Yes, that was a good choice for her character because she's extremely beautiful, and you made her look different than her natural self. I mean,
that was the question that I had to ask her. I'm like, you're going to be in a facility for 30 years, 32 years, 34 years. You're not going to care about your life. You're going to be miserable. So you wouldn't have makeup on. You wouldn't have done your eyes. Your hair would be ratty. So that was a big question for me. She allowed us to make her look worse, which is a big thing, because she's going to be on screen like that. And she's a beautiful actress, like you said. So we basically did the best we could to make her look as bad as we could, which wasn't
hard because she's so pretty. She's red carpet. She really is. She's the type of actress you can see with walking down this beautiful red carpet, winning awards, which is really, that's what the fun challenge for you is, to take these super amazing people and throw blood all over them.
Right. Yeah, that was good. That last scene there, not to give too much away, where we had to hit her with the blood. We only had like one try with that because, like you said, the wig and then her outfit. So there was actually, I think it was Brent Edgett was off screen with a brush with blood on it, and we had to hit her just right, perfect. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, we'd have to clean the wig and clean her shirt.
Yeah.
We didn't have her for that long, so it was everything was like real stressful, but it worked out.
That's so funny. She must have loved it, though, because, I mean, dying is fun to do in a movie. Not in real life, but honestly, dying in a movie can be pretty fun.
Whenever I hire somebody for these movies, their first question is, how am I going to die? Everybody gets excited about it.
Well, because it's awesome. I mean, I died in a movie, and I tell everybody all the time it was the funnest death I've ever had, Right. But that's, you get to remember that for the rest of your life, that, you were killed in a movie by some psycho. And they're going, well, that could happen in real life. Well, no, it won't, because I'll own a gun by then, But you never really used too many firearms in that film. Now, was that by choice? You wanted more raw killing.
Yeah, as far as Jason, obviously he just uses his weapons and his hands.
Right.
As far as the fast team, which is that big group that was there to fight him, I wanted them to be caught off guard when he came through the door like that. So the first guy tries to hand him, the second guy shotguns him, the third guy tries to knife him, so on and so forth. So I wanted different aspects from the people. So that's why I built those characters that way.
All those different types of murders. No, no. What was your favorite murder of all in any Jason movie?
Oh, in any Jason movie.
Any favorites? Any Jason movie? Because you know more about Jason Voorhees than even Jason Voorhees.
I probably do. And there's so many. I love in part 4, the guy asks for the corkscrew. He's a famous actor too. He asks for the corkscrew, and all of a sudden Jason corkscrews his hand and then puts a meat cleaver into his head. So that one for me. There's one in 2009. Everyone's usual favorite is the sleeping bag kill in 7, or the nitrogen cryogenic freeze face bash from Jason X. But part 4, the corkscrew kill for me was my favorite.
I remember that last one that you just mentioned. That was pretty gross.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, like, that's kind of an easy kill though. Like, you know what I mean? That's not so much, but you need the scream queens. You want the girls to be able to go, because that right there is old school.
I agree.
Wow, it's so fun talking about this. Now, what was a part of your favorite scene that didn't get to be put in the movie?
In my movie. So yeah, there was a scene in the beginning with all the military guys basically trying to bully the Duke. The Duke is the African-American gentleman. He's actually from Friday the 13th, Part 9. Yeah, so I put him in there. There was a scene with that. There was more nostalgia in there, WWE magazines and stuff, but it just didn't work. I learned about this the first time I was editing with pacing, and there's certain times where the movie just slows down too much and you need to cut stuff out. So that was cut out. We have a kill with Thompson in the hall where his head gets stuck on the axe, and the axe holds his head as the rest of the body falls. That'll be on the Blu-ray, but it didn't make the movie yet.
I think that's a good idea. Add things in like they used to do with bloopers.
Right.
Because that's the cutting room floor, and everybody wants to know what's on that floor. You know, why did they put that? And then they go, why didn't you put it in? Because there's got to be things have to go in specific order to make the flow.
Right, 100%. And there's also special effects like the one with the neck that we just didn't have time for. We had one guy, and we all work, so this is all like after work, and we gave him so many things to do. We just didn't have enough time to get to that. I mean, if we waited a year, yeah, we could have had everything, but we wanted to get it out.
And I don't blame you. And you got it out at the right time. Matter of fact, it was like right around Halloween, when it should come out. That because Halloween is when people watch horror movies all year round, but it's something special about having a really new, really cool movie come out. You know what I mean? And around the Halloween season. Fall is always a good time, but it's really great that you did all of that. Well, like I said, you do deserve that Guinness book. You got to have that, Peter. That's got to go up on your mantle right beside your mask. Because how often will Jason Voorhees be in the Guinness Book of World Records?
Right, good point. Yeah, he has the most kills ever of any slasher. I think that's a record for him so far.
See, that would be 2 times for him. Well, we're gonna take a quick break, everybody. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Pat Benatar. I'm a musician and a mom, so you probably won't be surprised to hear that I think it's important for kids to get a chance to learn music in school. Why music?
I portray myself in this story of my life, simply entitled, That's Showbiz. Thank you. You've been a wonderful audience. I love you. And remember, that's Showbiz. Good night.
Thank you, Mark. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm Debbie Perkins, and we're on the Hollywood Red Carpet Radio, and we're here with Peter Anthony. He's a director and an actor. He's also been the creator and writer of Roseblood, a Friday the 13th fan film, and it's newly released. So please check it out. Let Peter and the fans know what you think. Welcome back to the show, Peter.
Thanks for having me again.
So fun. Now, you're still doing things. You're going to take this long, wonderful break because you need it. But you just came back from Florida. How fun was that? Did you have a good time?
Oh, great time. My dad and me went to Miami. We're big Miami Dolphins fans. And we went to a game. We went to the aquarium. We saw some of my cousins. We went and ate some Cuban food. I'm half Cuban. My mom's born in Cuba. So it was really, really great. We went from a Thursday to a Tuesday and just went and saw and did everything we could within that time. It was great. And it was 85 degrees down there, and it's like 20 degrees over here.
Oh, really? Now, okay, go back to football because I just watched football last night. Now, when you're watching the Miami Dolphins, what is your thoughts on Tampa Bay now that they have Tom Brady?
Well, they won the Super Bowl last year. So, and they're looking pretty good this year. So, just a great improvement. I mean, they went from not making the playoffs to winning the Super Bowl with one change. So, they didn't start off that great, but I think, what are they, 10-3 now? So they're right back on course again. So they're going to be tough to beat.
Miami used to be one of my favorite teams when I was growing up because we watched football in the house. My brothers were pretty big in it. So when your grandparents and your brothers and everybody are all into it, you kind of learn the game really well. Mm-hmm. Especially when your brothers throw you footballs. You got to catch it or he's going to hit you in the face. Did you grow up playing football yourself?
I did. I played high school football on my way to play college football, but I got hurt really bad. So that one knee, I had major surgery on it, and then I had surgery after surgery after surgery. So that my left knee, I've had 23 surgeries on. Then they replaced it, and then I had 2 more surgeries on it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So you have like a barometer, because whenever the weather changes, you're going to know it 3 days before everybody else.
Yeah, I have so many injuries that I don't know what hurts more. I've had 39 major surgeries, so I'm pretty beat up for my age.
You are really young to have that many surgeries.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, Peter, you're going to have to write a story about your life.
Yeah, that would be a good story. But it'd be like complaining the whole time, so I don't want to do that.
Well, you know what? You can call it Grumpy Young Man.
Yeah. Those are my favorite movies ever, the Grumpy Old Man movies.
Hilarious. But see, I would love to see you as a comic because I think you're a funny man. And nobody would see it coming from you. You're kind of like Bill Burr. Where
Yeah. Kind of talking about real life experiences. I agree.
George Carlin was a grumpy man, but boy, he could pull a joke.
He was a genius.
And was that other guy, the one from New York, the one that forget about it.
Dice Clay.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't hear much from him anymore, but I could, if you put the 3 characters together, you'd have one heck of a comic.
Yeah. Dice Clay played the father in A Star Is Born, the movie about the singers. Yeah, he was the father in that.
Wow. He's been out of. Well, you don't see too many new things about him, so that's kind of cool. See him getting back into something. You know, it's really nice to see people that you watched kind of growing up. You know, mature. And now, what is it you're looking at for once you're done and you're relaxed? You finally get. Now, is that when you're going to become more creative and think of some really new ideas to put down in writing for more scripts?
If I'm going to do anything again, it'll be original content so we can make money on it. I've probably spent over $80,000 of my own money. This is besides the money we raised in the films that I was part of. So, and you get no return on that. And then, I had that premiere that was another 16, 18 grand with the after party and so on and so forth. So, if I'm going to do anything again, it'll be original content so I could put it on Amazon and so on and so forth and make money.
Yeah, because I think it's good to learn because it's like try and do you like this? Because if you don't try it, you don't know. It's kind of like if mother giving you something to eat. If you don't try it, you don't know if you're really gonna like it. So right. Did you fall in love with directing, or do you just mostly love the acting part?
I like both. The directing was my first time. Acting is a little easier. You just, here's your lines, create your character, figure out how you want to play them, and then play them. Yeah. Directing is so hard, especially for me, because I am a perfectionist. So I got my hand in everything. And it's almost like I don't trust anybody to do it as good as I think I can do it. So to tell you the truth, I don't enjoy it when I'm doing it because I put so much into it. But once it's over, like when we had that premiere and stuff, I really did enjoy it, and I really felt like it was my child. We had a standing ovation at the premiere, and to see everybody under me get accolades and people like their performances, you feel like a father. So that was really good. But when I'm in it, I mean, we're up till 4 a.m. every day. I got home, and then I was up till 3 or 4 a.m. every day for 3 months editing every day, and then getting up at 6 for 3 months straight.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's a lot, and I can see why you're going to take a vacation. I think it's not, it will help you become more creative just taking that time off, and spend some more time with your family, especially now that holidays are here.
Right.
And, now what is this, now the state you're living in right now?
Yeah, Connecticut.
Now, see, are you getting snow today too? I'm getting snow.
It snowed today. Yeah, I don't think it stuck. It didn't stick though, but it was snowing when I came home at 4:30.
So we always wonder, are we going to have a white Christmas or a yellow Christmas?
Where are you out of?
Never know. We never know. But that's it. Well, hopefully, Connecticut's a beautiful state. If anybody's ever been, I've been a few times myself.
What state
and
are you out of?
It really is. I'm sorry?
What state are you? Yeah.
Oh, I'm from Maine. I'm 20 minutes. No, I'm 2 hours north of Boston.
Oh, I was just in. Where the hell was I today? I was just far up there today. I was more your way. Where was I today? But I was in the. I go to Bangor, Maine sometimes for work too.
You went up past me.
Yeah, today I wasn't that far. Today, hold on, I was in Massachusetts. Man, it's not even coming up. I don't know. I was pretty far up there though.
Yep, that's all right. I think once you live on the coast, you tend to think riding up and down is not really a big deal. For me, I got a sister that just lives in Jersey, and my mother has another house in Florida, so it's kind of like we're already up and down the coast. And my aunt lived in Tennessee, so it's kind of like, hey, stop and visit everybody along the way down. It's not as long of a trip when you stop and visit your family all the way down to Florida. But Florida's a beautiful state. I actually lived in in Lago, which is right beside the Tampa Bay. Your mom and dad now live in, would you say Miami? Miami's nice.
No, they live in Connecticut. My dad just went with me to Miami.
Good for him. They'll probably be like my mom is a snowbird. They go down there and they live, and we love it.
Yeah.
We send all our elderly down to Florida if anybody didn't notice.
I used to live in.
We just named them snowbirds. Send them down. Hey,
I used to live in St. Petersburg for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's 2000 to 2002. Wow,
that's an interesting city.
Yeah.
Wow, it's really incredible. But it's one thing. What was it like when you were, okay, this is a big highlight. When you were driving, you and your dad were driving into the parking lot of the football stadium, how high was you feeling at that moment? That to me would be, I love football. So when I get there, if I got there, I've seen only one stadium, and that was like in Pittsburgh. But what was it like? Because it's just like you're saying a 500 for me too.
It was a nightmare because the traffic is insane around the game. So like they're yelling at you, and there's cones in the road, and then you could only park depending on the color of your ticket for the color zone, and you don't know what that is when you're driving, So honestly, it was terrible. But once we got out, we were super excited, and we took pictures and we bought jerseys.
You know how many people get out of your way if they saw you wearing your face mask?
Yeah, they would. They'd be scared for sure. I don't think they let me into the facility if I had it on.
Oh, that would be hilarious if they did. Yeah. You could film something right in there while the football game's going on. Jason's killing 3 or 4 people. You never know what people you do.
Yeah, but it's so much different than up here, because up here, like, people pre-game, they drink beer and stuff, but it's freezing up here. Down there, it was 85. I mean, they have all kinds of contests outside, like kicking, punting, throwing. It's totally different than up here.
Well, they drink beer to keep warm.
Exactly.
and I don't know why, but some reason it just enhances things.
Yeah. Fights.
Gives us a little edge. I mean, we even have a baseball place where you go watch the big, the games, and you can rent the boxes, and you can order. And waitresses will bring drinks right to your room, right to the rooms. These boxes. Wow. We did that for my grandfather on his 90th birthday, and they actually put on the sign. It's kind of, it's what a special moment, and they do that stuff. They should do it for you. That would be cool. You just talk to somebody, tell them you want to bring it in. Now you had a really great suit for your Jason, and
Yeah,
now,
Marcio.
who was the creator? Was it our friend, our mutual friend?
It's our friend Marcio Charlie at Horror Costumes. Yep.
Unbelievable, just unbelievable. And now, was that the costume where Jason Brooks was missing a piece, and then is that the same costume? Or was that a different one?
Same costume. We basically changed the entire movie because of that. He sent
Nope.
the piece, but every time something comes out of Brazil, they steal something. Not Marcio,
What?
but like the mail people. Like that's like the
That's
second time they stole something out of it, and you could tell they ripped a hole right in the side of the box and just like took the head part out, which was the biggest part because Jason at the end of 7 loses his mask. So we were going to have him shot without his mask all the way until like halfway where he gets it back. And it never showed up. So we had to use a different hood with the mask on to hide it. And then we had to give him his mask in a much different way than we normally would have. So that changed everything.
Now, you had 2 different masks in that movie, right?
We've had, well, Jason has a whole bunch of them, including some from Vengeance and so on and so forth. So
he's a collector. If anybody didn't know, Jason Brooks has a fetish for Jason Voorhees' collection. And if you find anything you want to send to him, I'm sure he'd be happy with it. Jason Brooks like that stuff. Are you a collector of anything like that?
Oh yeah, if you saw my video on right behind me, I've got some really, really rare stuff. I probably have $60,000 worth of Friday the 13th stuff between masks and stuff.
That's quite the collection.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big collector with stuff.
Well, I can see where you kind of got your ideas from, because that in itself would give you. I mean, just collecting that kind of that memorabilia would give you. Now, if you could have met anybody in the series of the Friday the 13th I know you met Kane Hodder, but if you could meet any other actor or actress in them movies, who would it be?
I've probably met over 70 and have 70 autographs. But I never met Richard Brooker. I'm looking right at his shadow box right now. He was the Jason in part 3, the first time he ever wore the mask. He died maybe 2012, 2014, something like that. I forgot. Right before I started going to shows. So I never met him. I have stuff signed from him that I bought on eBay, but never met him. So if I could turn back time and meet him, I would love to meet him.
That's really amazing. Are there any other horror movies that you were taken with when you were younger or even now? I mean, is Jason Voorhees pretty much your main character? And is there any other type of scary films that you have been attracted to?
Yeah. The big 3, Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, always fans of. I like Jason a little more. You fit my character a little more. But huge fans of The Exorcist, all horror. I probably have 500 different Blu-rays of horror movies. So I've been just a huge horror fan in general.
You should write a book. Have you ever thought about writing a book? Because it does sound like you are a good writer.
Thank you. I always feel, I don't know, I feel like I can express more visually than I can verbiage wise. But, maybe if I tried, I think today is kind of like a visual world, Most people look at things instead of reading things. But
they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it'd be as successful as, showing Jason rip someone's face off kind of thing.
Well, you can put more wordage in things that are more inappropriate. I do know that you can add a little bit more, because I remember Flowers in the Attic. It was a book.
Great one. Great book.
Yeah. My mom was reading the book, and I snuck it, and she didn't want me to read it because there was some scenes in there that in the book that a kid shouldn't hear about. But then they did the movie, and I was a little bit more, just to say, I was a little more disappointed, because the book seemed like it's like reading a Stephen King novel and then watching the film. That's one of my things is, I wonder always why they don't keep so close to the book. They need to have its own identity.
Yeah, well, I think the real reason is everybody has a different concept of what the book means to them. So, like, I'm the same as you. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I thought was such a great book, and the
Yeah.
movie was good with Jack Nicholson and everything, but it was nowhere near as good as the book. And I think that's because when you read the book and I read the book, we visualize things differently, and they're more personal because your brain visualized it, right? So I think that everybody who reads a book kind of sees things differently a little bit. Like when you describe a character, well, the way you think he looks is different than the way I think he looks, so on and so forth. So I think when it then becomes a movie, you kind of lose that personal touch with it.
I gotcha. Now that's really interesting. Now, how many buckets of blood do you think you went through when you did your movie? Like gallons, or was it gallons
Yeah,
of blood? I say buckets because I think of Carrie, but Stephen King's
we
Carrie.
went through 10 gallons of blood.
Did you
We bought a
really?
10
That's a
gallon
lot.
bucket, yeah, out of Hollywood, and I'm pretty sure we used it all. So
No kidding. That's.
yeah.
I hope it tastes good. You always wonder that was just and some people can make it really taste good, and some people it's not so good. Personally,
If you do it right, it shouldn't.
it should taste delicious.
If you do it right, no. If you do it right, they say it shouldn't taste good because you're supposed to put soap in it. So that's what we did. Because if you put a little bit of soap, it'll come off everything.
Oh, that's why it was stuck to my clothes.
Yeah, that's the trick. It'll come off your clothes. It'll come off your hair, your face, your skin. That's the whole trick to it. If you put a little bit of soap in there.
Oh, that's crazy, Peter. I drove home with blood all over me one after a scene. I was murdered. I drove home with blood all over me. And you should have seen the faces on the two kids in the Jeep in front of me. I looked so bad. That's my favorite story.
Similar story.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I have a similar story. It's funny you say that. In Vengeance, when I fight the fight scene that never made Vengeance, when I was the prisoner, I fight Jason, and I get a big thing through my head, and my body was completely covered in blood. My clothes, everything. And then we hung out and we ate and everything. And I think I washed my hands, but I didn't clean up. And I got in the car and I was going back to my hotel room, and I went to a gas station. And I forgot what I looked like. It's just like you said. I walked in, the guy almost shit himself. He was like, "What?" He was, "What happened?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm in a movie. Sorry, I forgot."
Peter, I would have thought you murdered somebody. I would have ran. I'd been like, "There's a guy over there. He's covered in blood."
Yeah.
I would have been so
and imagine I got a prisoner outfit on. Yeah.
I know that.
Crazy.
He just killed all the guys and escaped. Oh my God, that's priceless. See, it's the fun things like that. You're no longer on the camera, so you're not thinking like, you just did a scene. It's all fake. But the people looking at you are going, "I definitely killed somebody. I swear to God, I bet he did. He escaped from some mental institution." Yeah. Oh gosh. So what are you?
I got a shaved head, the prisoner outfit. I even had the prisoner ID badge on me.
I know. So now you're going to stay, and you're in love with filming and directing. Are you going to be putting out some things in the next year or so after you take your nice? Like I said, Peter does need this time off, everybody. So don't harass him about getting a movie out real quick. But Peter, you're going to be taking a nice little vacay, and then are you going to continue to do horror movies, or is that kind of typecasting for you?
I got to be in that one movie, Z Dead End, where I have to act with Kane Hodder in LA. I don't know when that is. I think it's in the next couple months. But as far as creating,
is that by Sean GK?
No, it's by Robert Resto.
Oh. Robert, we will love Robert. Robert's a great guy. Okay.
Yeah, super nice guy. Yeah.
I've had him on. We talked about it way back.
I'm just probably going to I mean, I might retire. So I've been telling everybody I might be all done, but we'll see.
We need you back. We'll be begging you to come back, Peter.
I go on these runs with my life where I'll do something for 5 years and then I just leave it. And people are like, "How could you just leave something you built?" And I'm like, "Well, that's me. Like, maybe I'll teach myself how to fly a plane and do that. Or, every 5 years I'll change something up and try to be successful at something to a degree and then move on." It's kind of the way I am. So we'll see. This one so many people are trying to pull me back in. I just need to. I can't even give you a straight answer until I take a break because I'm
You're
sick of everything right
self-educating.
now.
Yeah, you're just out there living life. And I mean, is this like, I mean, you're young, but is this kind of bucket list stuff that you work on? Just things that you thought, well, I'd like to accomplish that. And then once I feel like I've accomplished that, I can move on to the next project.
Correct. That's exactly how I see it. Yep.
That's crazy. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Well, I do really hope that you get I'm not kidding about the Guinness Book of World Records. We got to find out how to get you in there because before somebody else slides in there and thinks about it. But this is really incredible, and you did have a great male cast. I don't want to give the ladies kudos without giving the gentlemen kudos. Could you tell who you had in the film?
We had Kevin Spirtus, who reprised his role as Nick. We had Terry Kaiser, who reprised his role as Dr. Cruz. Terry Kaiser, world famous. He was in Weekend at Bernie's. Kevin Spirtus is a 6-time Emmy Award winner. Jason Brooks played Jason Voorhees. David McMahon played Dr. Sykes phenomenally. Todd Jenkins, he probably has 100 movie credits. He played Orderly Jenkins. The Duke is played by J. Quint Broden. Tommy Lee Driver plays the Colonel, and Joseph Caban plays the janitor.
That's a lot of people for that film.
And I play the general.
You did, and you did really great. And that's a good amount. That's a big cast, really, for a fan film.
Yeah. We had a lot more. We had some extras, and we had the whole fast team and so forth. So, but yeah, it was a lot. We were in one building, so we had the rooms are the same rooms. We just change out fixtures and change out nameplates.
That's really
so
cool.
some of them
You
were
wouldn't have known
repainted
it.
while the other one was dry.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, we did a good job of that.
That right there is in itself a whole different thing, because people don't know where things are filmed, and they won't want to guess. But it did really look like a mental facility when you guys got done with it. It really did.
Thank you.
But I thought that the girls were brave, and they did a fantastic job. And the young lady that plays Rose. I'm saying it fast. She was beautiful, fantastic, and I hope to see her in more films because I think she's a very young, very good, talented person, and a good time for her.
Yeah, I agree. She's phenomenal. She was great to work with.
And that's what it means, like working with a family. Wow. So, Peter, where you going on vacation? Going on another one, or are you just going to take time out at home?
No more vacations. That was it for the year. I'm just going to work, try to get back in feet, and spend time with the family.
It's a good idea. And got good plans for the holidays?
Yeah, just mom and dad's. I'm lucky. I have a really nice family, a really good family, so we always go there.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Peter, thank you so much for this super fun interview with you. I did want to tell everybody that I submitted a photograph just for fun to my state. They're doing a little small contest on images from the whole state, and there's so many beautiful places. When I submitted, I didn't think anything, and they chose my photo to be in their 2022 calendar. So I just wanted to say that it's called, I believe it's called Incredible. I don't even know. It's, I'll let everybody know when it comes out. But yeah, I was jumping up and down today because I found out that they had chosen. I mean, I can't even imagine how many people submit because everybody's got a phone and, and their camera, and they can take a picture anywhere they go. So, it was, did you like my picture? I sent you and Mark the picture.
I did. It's got that little walkway right there. I liked it.
Yes, it does. That's the Saco River. Three 3 white men die every year. They drown. There's an old curse on that river. And 3 white men die every year.
Really?
And I'll have to tell you about that Native American curse that was put on by a chief way back in the 1700s. And it has to do with the British soldiers. And it has to do with people having to hide from the Indians. And they were sneaking in and out of forts. And there was murder. And there was blowing up and all kinds of stuff. So that's a whole different story for a whole nother day. But we're out of time, everybody. Peter, thank you so much. It's so much fun. And you have a great night, everybody. And we'll see you next week. And thanks a lot for listening. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.